Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today it is episode 3 of our exploration of Control in Legacy, courtesy of Patreon subscriber Brendan. If you watched the first 2 episodes of this series, I played 4-color Bant, and then I played Jeskai Control. And you know that I was going to play Jeskai Undoing for the 3rd episode, but then Neon Dynasty came out, and a new contender emerged. This list was sent to me by Patreon subscriber Khan Kubrat, who wanted me to play this deck, just put it in the donation queue for down the road, and I identified that it should probably be in this slot right now. Hidetsugu Consumes All is giving new life to Grixis Control in Legacy. Historically speaking, Grixis Control has been a serious contender in Legacy. It was the best deck in Legacy probably around 2018, right before War of the Spark. And the thing that really knocked it off its pedestal was Uro being printed. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, doesn't care about discard spells, doesn't care about Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, doesn't care about Fatal Push, you can't Lightning Bolt it, doesn't really care about Red Elemental Blast, it'll be back. Grixis Control just could not answer Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath in a way that is relevant to the game plan going along. Like, Grixis Control was a super late game control deck. They wanted to grind you into dust. They wanted to stick Jace on turn 11 or turn 12 when you had no cards in hand and nothing in play. It was a very real, very grindy control deck and just had no good answers to Uro. You saw Grixis resort to doing weird stuff like playing 2 or 3 copies of main deck Cling to Dust. And even that wasn't good enough a lot of the time. It was an ugly scene, and that's where Grixis sort of fell off. But Hidetsugu Consumes All. This card, the first saga, well, it is a saga. The first chapter of the saga is destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. There's your Delver, your Darcy, any number of Construct tokens, Thopter tokens, Exploration, Mox Diamond. There's just so many things that this wipes away immediately. Step 2, exile all graveyards. There goes Uro. Even if Uro's not in the graveyard yet, it clears out all of the fuel that Uro would be using to escape. And then the last one, exile this, return it to battlefield transformed. And transformed, it is a 3/3 trample. Whenever it deals damage, put a +1 counter on it. Whenever a Vessel of the All-Consuming deals combat damage to, or deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they lose the game. I suspect the bottom line is probably flavor text most of the time, but a 3/3 trample that gets bigger after you clear the board, after you clear the graveyard, and your sweeper and your Tormod script are just also a 3/3 trample that needs to be answered. This card does a lot that the Grixis deck really wanted it to do. Finding the shell for it is what the Legacy community is working on right now. I've played against a 4-color version of this with a bunch of Planeswalkers. I played against classic 3-color Grixis. And this build is kind of a combo deck. We didn't get completely away from Days Undoing with this switch from Jeskai to Grixis. This deck is trying to get the game over. It has Consume for when you need to get grindy, but this is the 3 Narset, 2 Hull Breacher, 2 Days Undoing shell that we've seen from the Jeskai deck. Hull Breacher is a scary card on its own, especially when backed up by other things that you have to kill or other things you have to answer. Baleful Strix can pull ahead, 2 for 1, keep you alive. And there's just a wall of removal in this deck. 2 Fatal Push, 2 Lightning Bolt, Sudden Edict, another Lightning Bolt in the sideboard. I actually cut a Fatal Push from this main deck for a Thoughtseize because being black, one of the good things that you get that other colors don't is targeted discard. And I just felt like between 4 Strix, 3 Edict, 2 Bolt, 3 Push, 4 Consume, that was just too much removal and not enough hand disruption, especially since we're half a combo deck. I put a Thoughtseize in here. I kind of want another one, actually. I'm doing it right now, live on screen. I'm turning one of the Sudden Edicts into a Thoughtseize. Targeted discard is just so good in any sort of control mirror. And the fact that we have a combo in the deck, like being able to Thoughtseize them, take their Red Blast, then go Hullbreacher Days Undoing is just so powerful. If the deck was purely reactive, if this was one of those like win on turn 18 Grixis control decks, maybe Thoughtseize wouldn't be so good. Maybe I'd be thinking about Hymn to Turok just as a 2-for-1, but the surgical precision of Thoughtseize when we actually do have a proactive combo to execute, I like that a lot. The shields are up against creatures. We have 6 forces and now 2 Thoughtseizes against control. A combo kill either way. You can mop up Saga decks with Consume. This deck's got a lot going on that I like. A very clear plan. 2 very clear plans, actually. I'm pretty excited to try this. It's been a long time since I was excited to play Grixis. I have been asked to play Grixis a few times since Uro was printed, and every time it's just like, here we go. But this one, actually excited to try. Hidetsugu consumes all. Let's see what it's made of. This is Concubrat's Grixis Consume deck for the Brendan Control series. Let's jump into it. On the draw in round 1, this is the Mono Cantrip hand. I don't know what this hand does yet, but I'm keeping it. Island Ponder, right? Underground Sea. It's cool that we live in a time where Underground Sea is not necessarily a combo deck, which it was for a long time. Like, you've been watching the channel the last couple of years, you know that it's like, oh, we're up against a combo deck. But that's just not the case anymore. I'm going to draw the Bloodstained Mire and leave Hullbreacher on top. I want the Hullbreacher, but if this is a Thoughtseize deck or Duress deck, I don't want them to know that I have Hullbreacher. Okay, maybe it's just a Grixis Mirror. There are not many decks that go Underground Sea Basic Mountain except for Grixis Control. I'm going to brainstorm now, see if I spike a Thoughtseize before we go into turn 3. No love on the Thoughtseize. Put back Mountain and put back Underground Sea. I'm going to fetch Underground Sea and cast Ponder. Ace Strix. Strix is medium. They want... This probably isn't a Jace game. I'm not going to shuffle. I'm going to draw the Strix, draw the land under it. And I'm just going to start ramming now. Like, if they slam Consume this turn, then I get to slam Narset. There's... Okay. This is definitely a mirror of some variety. Left up red mana. There's a land on top of my deck. I know I don't want that. I'm going to shuffle and play Strix. Get a Volcanic Island. I like this little play pattern of leave up red. I'll feel bad if I draw Thoughtseize, but otherwise, I like it. Preordain. That's not a card that I have. I wonder what that tells me. Preordain normally isn't in fair decks. Interesting. Okay. There's just a little wrinkle of texture there that is worth thinking about. And if they just have less removal overall than I do, that makes sense. I'm going to play the other Strix. I really want a Force of Will or to check their hand with Thoughtseize before I move in on anything here. Nice. Strix superiority. Air Force has been assembled. Oh, they have EI. Okay, yeah, they're a very different list than me. Yeah, Expressive Iteration is a card you can put in your Grixis control deck these days. That's a serious one. They exiled a Preordain and crack their fetch first. That is the correct way to cast Preordain. Well done, opponent. You never want to... Like, if you end up keeping both cards off Preordain, you don't want to have to crack your fetch land and lose one of them. Like, you kept them for a reason. Brainstorm now when they can't breach my hull. That's a lot of lands. Distressing number, in fact. I attack for 2. Do they block? Nope. Oh, are you a ninja deck? What's going on? Did I blow it? Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to pass. I can end step, jam Hullbreacher, untap, jam Narset, and Days Undoing. So I have two jerks. Guess I didn't blow it. I have Sudden Edict. But that would mess up my Hullbreacher line. Oh no, they have Thoughtseize. I'm gonna cast Hullbreacher. Having two Narsets makes the game a little different. That, like, they could strip the Days Undoing, but yeah, they found the Thoughtseize first. This is what I've been frantically digging towards. Oh wow, they took Sudden Edict. That's the important card in here. Maybe they are a ninja deck. What's going on? Or they're their own Hullbreacher deck. But I can't Sudden Edict a Hullbreacher anyway because of Baleful Strix. Oh, Murktide Regent. Okay. Okay. Let's see what I can get away with here. I'm gonna find a volcanic island. I don't think they're gonna beat up on my lands. This doesn't seem to be part of the plan at all. Okay. I can just slam Days Undoing with Force of Negation backup now, skip the Narset. But I lose the Lightning Bolt that way and not just Force of Will. Yeah, I'm going to play Narset, try to dig into another layer of protection. Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation. I can just Force of Negation back right now. I think I like that. Just sit on the Days Undoing for a turn. Pull ahead on cards here. Spell Pierce. Oh, I've never even seen this art. Oh, I didn't even know Spell Pierce was in Neon Dynasty. That's sweet. Cool. Okay. My spell is countered. They have two cards left in their hand. We got a 3 for 2 that turn. We are facing down this Murktide Regent that's a little bit scary. If they have spot removal, they have to decide if they want to take me off Hullbreacher or let Murktide Regent start connecting through the Baleful Strix. This is the power of a Death Touch creature. Come on, Thoughtseize. Uh-oh, they're doing stuff in my upkeep. They have their own Hullbreacher. Yikes. Okay. Sudden Edict. Not great. Not bad. Narset, get in there. Activate. Lightning Bolt was a huge find here. Now I can Lightning Bolt their Hullbreacher. Fetch. They've shown me Spell Pierce. If they have Force Blue card as their last, then they're Hellbent. Alright, hope I don't get Spell Pierced, but I'm okay getting forced here. Or we just get to do the thing. Nice. Alright. Patience paid off there. Yeah, that was a sweet one. I feel good about that game and how it was played. I also added this Flusterstorm to the list. That wasn't there originally. I cut the third Fatal Push from the main to make room for a sideboard Thoughtseize, and then I just filled that slot with Flusterstorm. I have one fewer removal spell than the stock list does, but I think that is totally fine in this situation. This matchup is going to be about jockeying for card advantage and who can do something to start pulling ahead with a Planeswalker while we both threaten each other with the combo. So that's kind of what's going on here. Consume actually is not good, like, at all. Neither of us are using our graveyards. Neither of us have 1 mana permanents. Basically a mirror match here. Fatal Push can hit Strix, but not Murktide, and only sometimes Hullbreacher. They have EI and Murktide, and Preordained, so their deck is materially different than mine in kind of important ways. Fatal Push, Fatal Push. They can probably get away with cutting those. I really don't want to be pushing Baleful Strixes. And I'm bringing in all these Rebs. So that's a million answers to Hullbreacher. Lightning Bolt pressures Hullbreacher. It can pick off a Strix if I need to clear the way for Sudden Edict, and it can hit Planeswalkers. Is the power of Lightning Bolt. Seems funny that I have to convince people that Lightning Bolt's a good legacy card when it has just been around forever. But in control decks, Lightning Bolt. I haven't played a control deck with Lightning Bolt in a long time. Force of Will to reduce the 2-for-1 potential. I could go down another Force of Will, bring in 1 Plague Engineer. That answers any number of Strixes cleanly, clears the way for Sudden Edict. But I don't think that's the way. This is the deck I'm going to submit. They are a much lower to the ground version of the deck. I'm going to keep this. Love me some Baleful Strix in this mirror match, especially when they have Murktide Regent and I don't. Ponder from the opponent. They did not shuffle their Ponder. Just going to Mire go. I'm representing Red Blast already. That's just going to be looming over this entire game on both sides. I would not have Red Blasted that even if I could. It's just not really what this matchup's about. Though having the combo kill, the Days Undoing, in here, aggro blasting an early brainstorm gets a lot more interesting. My thoughts. They're fetching basics over there. That's something I gotta pay attention to. They might have Blood Moon. I don't have that card in my deck, but they could have it in theirs very easily. Luckily, it's not actually good against me. So I do have basics. Blue-black Strix. I think Strix is better than holding up Pyroblast for the turn. Like if they slam Narset here or whatever, I can still blast it in play. And they didn't get to see it. Back with my Strix. And I'm going to play the other Strix. Or another Strix. I have many. If they try to breach my hull here, I'm going to red blast this off of Volcanic Island. If they have Force of Will, they're going to know that this counter war is theirs to win. Force of Negation, pitching Brainstorm. Okay. I'm a little worried right now. Because if they have the Days Undoing, we are undone. I've also seen Winds of Change in some Grixis shells, which is like a 1-mana Days Undoing, kind of. Okay, they just don't have that. Cool. That was a really good lightning bolt. Bolt. See what happens. And another Strix. Alright, counter that in the air. That's fine. Yeah, if they're at the point where they're red blasting Baleful Strixes with one card in their hand, they know that my hand is Narset Jace and a mystery card. We're pretty far ahead here and don't really need to do much. They don't land. They have one card left in hand. Alright, cool. Now I can protect Narset with Force of Will, or I can hold up Hull Breacher and try to spike them into the earth. I think getting Narset down. They have one card left. In Hardcast Force is live, Hardcast Force of Negation, Red Blast. All their answers are live here, but they do only have one of them. And yeah, it might not even be that. Fetching in response to Narset activation. They have a Hull Breacher. Is that what they've been sitting on? Brazen Bee. Oh, they're just jamming this as an attacking creature. I'm going to lose my Hull Breacher to protect Narset, because her in play does what Hull Breacher does. Grab this Ponder. If they had even one card in their hand, I wouldn't have done that. But they had 0 cards in their hand. Oh, good draw. They did bring in Plague Engineer. I mentioned that as a line that we could take. Come on, land. I would love to jam Jace right now. Cool, we did it. I think the card advantage is more important, especially if I hit Days Undoing, but they're already Hellbent, so is that even good? I guess I'll take it. And get Jace down. Underground Sea. Jace plus Jace. They can shuffle their deck. I just didn't want Jace to die to a lightning bolt. Their top card's Volcanic Island right now. If I click through that quickly. They can shuffle it away with Prismatic Vista. But that forces their shuffle. That makes Brainstorm worse if they draw one. Okay, maybe I like Plague Engineer seeing it in action here just as a body that disrespects Baleful Strix on the block. Oh, that was a good rip. Come on. Exiled Baleful Strix. Alright, it's not Red Blast. I'll take it. Strix. Okay, time to pull ahead. Ponder is a reasonable card. Time to brainstorm. Red Blast, Thoughtseize, Force of Negation. I'm going to put back Undoing and Force, I think. Or Undoing and Ponder. I'm going to Thoughtseize them so I have more information for what else I need to do this turn. I get to strip their Expressive Iteration. Their hand is Force of Will right now. And I can Ponder or hold up Force of Negation right now. I think I need to Ponder. I'm going to draw Brainstorm. Ponder and Days Undoing are on top of my deck. They can put Jace to 1 with their attack right now. Yeah, this may have slipped away. I am going to counter Brainstorm right now. Like, I'm going to need my mana over the next couple turns to get out of this. So I want to fight over the Brainstorm when I know that their hand is just Force of Will they can't use. Hey, my top card is Days Undoing, and I don't know the 2 cards under it. I'm going to Brainstorm. Undoing, land, Lightning Bolt. Right, I want the land. I think I'm going to need the Undoing to win this game. So, Jace is pretty good. I'm not going to Undoing my opponent. No, not when you have 7 cards in hand. What am I even saying? And put back Force of Negation and Days Undoing. I'm going to ponder, almost certainly shuffling this. I would love my own Strix. A Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I don't have 2 red sources. I'm going to shuffle this. Still don't have 2 red sources. I'm going to brainstorm. I do still have a land drop here. Okay, put back the basic and float Pyroblast on top. Or I think I've... All right, how do I do this? Put Brainstorm under the basic land. I'm losing Jace this turn regardless. I can choose to hold up Pyroblast or Lightning Bolt. And I think I want all of my lands available next turn, so Brainstorm, basic land. And playing the fetch land lets me Bolt and Pyroblast if I need to do both. If they try to get cute with their attacks, I can... Like, if they just send 1 Strix at Jace and the rest at me, but that would be pretty reckless. The 2 Strixes. And I'm just going to let this happen, because I know they have Force of Will in their hand. Oh, they left their Consumes in. That's really interesting. Okay. Their hand is Force of Will with no Lightning Bolt in my graveyard already. Fatal Push. I'm actually running out of answers to the 3/3. Okay. Maybe they're onto something. I think that's a later problem, though. I'm going to Bolt Plague Engineer now. Draw my island. Narset needs to hit Days Undoing right now. 1, 2, 3. I know there's a Brainstorm on top of my deck, which doesn't really help me. Do I want Badlands or Volcanic Island right now? It's one of the red lands. I have a lot of blue, less black. I don't really need that much black. I'll get Volcanic Island. All right, Narset, pay me out. Jace is pretty good. Yeah, I'll take Jace here. And graveyards get bombed. They're going to attack Narset to 1, try to leave up Force of Will this turn. I have the Pyroblast for the Force. And then my second Jace is in. And I have this turn that I could rip Days Undoing and still get the reset. But even the reset has Hidetsugu in play. These little nickel and dime creatures have been pretty harsh on me. Hope their mystery card in hand isn't Red Blast. Here's the Force, counter it. Hidetsugu doesn't have haste. I am going to try to Brainstorm here. Put back Clusterstorm and land. And shuffle. I'll get Badlands in case I do come up with a removal spell or Red Blast here. There's Days Undoing. It's too late for that. One look too late. Narset's not going to be in play next turn. Gotta shuffle this. Yeah, this one fell apart. I'm not sure, like, maybe I just underestimated their creature strat. I was too reliant on Baleful Strix. They put 1 on Jace, 1 on Narset, another Strix, yikes. Yeah, they have the Plague Engineer for Strixes and I don't, has really been the material difference. Oh, found a Reb. Okay, we can concede this game. Yeah, they worked through that one. Plague Engineer. Leaving the Consume in was really interesting. I guess they value the threat enough. Shava Force. I did like the Plague Engineers. Getting just chewed up by Baleful Strix is not great. And they have more creatures than I thought they did. Still don't like Fatal Push. Yeah, Plague Engineer is just like a thing I can hit that helps. I still don't like Consume. Even though it's sort of like Hill Giant with Suspend too, which is like good enough if nothing else is going on in the entire game, but the first 2 modes just don't have meaningful text in this matchup. I don't like it. I won't be talked into it. I will be talked into my Plague Engineers though. That was really, really good. Ooh, no black mana in this hand. Otherwise, beautiful hand, but I'll keep it. My deck's full of lands and cantrips. This matchup is not going to go quickly. And sometimes the turn 4 Thoughtseize is better than the turn 1 Thoughtseize. I'm not going to counter a Ponder here. This game's going to go long. I also need some help right now finding a land or a cantrip that finds a land. I can't just spew off my answer to Hall Breacher this early. Okay, found the land right away. I'm going to Thoughtseize next turn That will give me the most information going into the Jace turn after that. And 3 mana is where the scary things start to happen, like Hull Breacher, Narset, Hidetsugu, and Sudden Edict. Yes, I will fetch a basic swamp, just in case of Blood Moon, though. Don't think it's good. I don't think they should have it in, but I don't want to lose to it if they do. Let's have a look. You can't Spell Pierce this, can't Fluster this. Hey, look, there's the Spell Pierce in their hand. 2 Brainstorms, Ponder, Brazen Borrower, Spell Pierce, Plague Engineer. Don't care about Plague Engineer. This is a lot of control over their hand, and they even have 2 Brainstorms. I can't like strip the Brainstorm and leave them with Ponder. Spell Pierce seems like it would be the most annoying of these cards to work through. If I just had lands in my hand, I would let them have it, but yuck. I'm actually going to take the Plague Engineer. Like, breaking open the Strix stalls, that's what won them last game, and if I can do that and they can't, that's cool. There's an end-step Brainstorm. Their hand's going to be very different than it looks like right now. Power of Brainstorm. Also the power of cantrips in general. They have land drops lined up and lots of options to find more, and I just don't. Thoughtseize. Bummer. This card is so good in control mirrors. I forgot about this. It's been a few years since we had to think about this. Oh, they took my Jace. And they did redraw one of their Brainstorm cards before they shuffled. They brainstormed in the end step with a fetch land, and then untapped, drew, and then fetched. Yeah, there's that. Okay, I think I should ponder looking for land here, try to use all my mana. Really want to hit land drops in these control mirrors. And of course I did not. Shuffle this. Got there. Okay. Oof. Close one. I think I want bad lands, just having double red available. Like, that gives me 2 of every color. And bird. Okay. Plague Engineer did its job. It's now also a creature in play. So they can't just jam Planeswalkers into this thing. They have some kind of pressure. Can't Red Blast it. Can't Spell Pierce it. They do have perfect information about my hand right now. They know whatever they want to do is going to resolve. Land number 4. Lightning Bolt. Okay. I'm pretty worried here. I need a Planeswalker. Like, Narset off the top would be huge. If I could Narset with Pyroblast back up. Or start getting Strixie. Just bringing Strixie back. This is exactly the sort of incremental advantage you want. Wow, that's a lot of respect. Okay. One of us knows something the other doesn't, because in my mind, these decks, my deck has Narset, Hull Breacher, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Days Undoing, and at 15 life, I would never point a Red Blast at a Baleful Strix. Like, that's the decision I was just put to, and I don't know. It just feels like the game's going to go too long for that to be the right play. We'll see how much damage this Strix ends up getting in for. Undoing. Do I just want a Days Undoing? My hand kind of sucks. I don't think so, though. My hand is pretty good at reaction, and that's a blue card I can pitch to the Force now. They fetched for a land in my end step. 3 mana's up. They're just borrowing. This one I will counter. 3 damage is a lot of damage. Like, the difference between a 16 turn clock and a 4 turn clock is substantial. I guess I could have Pyroblasted the Strix in play and then Edicted the 3-1. But no, that's mostly the same thing. Alright, never mind. That just commits my Edict in a weird way. I'll have to force a Will of Murktide Regent this turn, unfortunately. Yeah, they've definitely decided they're the aggressive posture in this matchup, and maybe that's right. I don't know. It's pretty interesting either way. Hull Breacher. Well, don't have much of a choice about this one. Pitching Days Undoing to that is basically free because that card was uncastable with Breacher in play anyway. I'm going to hold back my land. They know about the Sudden Edict. If they draw a Thoughtseize, I can Edict them in response, and then they get nothing. But we are running out of options here. They still haven't cast this Ponder we saw those turns ago. Murky Rege resolves, but you knew that. Okay, Lightning Bolt. Second, Sudden Edict. They've done a really good job insulating against the Sudden Edict. Plague Engineer stabilizes this. Got a lot of good draws here. Let's find one before we're dead. This matchup right now actually reminds me of back in the day, Rich Shea developed a Grixis control deck, and it was at the same time that Noah Walker was developing Grixis Delver, and Grixis control was amazing against the entire format, except could never ever in its entire life beat Grixis Delver. Right, I'm gonna Red Blast the Murktide Regent. If they have Force of Will, they have to pitch. If I let them untap, they can hard cast it. All right, cool. We got through that one. And my opponent's deck with their creatures and shit are versus my deck without any creatures. It's a very different game that's being played. Narset is on top of my deck. I'm probably just going to Sudden Edict the Strix this turn. I'm not really convinced this card's getting better. Edict did give me the out of Lightning Bolt there to kill Murktide Regent. That is worth mentioning. Alright, I'm going to Edict in response. Just kill the one that can attack. Having a second Strix now is like, okay. This Edict is really not getting better now. Preordain, okay. Red Blast is really bad for me. I am playing around Spell Pierce. There's the Ponder finally. They top bottomed the Preordain. Did not shuffle the Ponder. They like all the cards they found. I'm in trouble to Red Blast, but I don't have another play here. I'm going to slam my Narset. Okay. My opponent just like conceded and left the game. There must have been some real life factor involved here. Like kids crying or mom yelled at him or something. I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of game left to play here, and I think we were behind, but apparently the game is over. Okay, GG's opponent. On to the next round. I am on the play in round 2. A turn 1 Thoughtseize. This hand could be phenomenal or terrible. The Brainstorm hopefully will help. If we're just playing against like Delver and I Thoughtseize them turn 1 and then get wasted. Oh, Chancellor of the Enix. Yikes. That does change things quite a bit. Sudden Edict might end up being good. Depends on how explosive their hand is. Yeah, the Chancellor was a good start. Otherwise, this turn 1 Thoughtseize into double Sudden Edict would have actually been great. All I can do is try to represent Force of Will. An Edict trigger does counter Sudden Edict on 2 mana. Split Second doesn't get around triggered abilities. You just can't activate or play spells. 2 Chancellors in the graveyard. Okay, cool. They're passing the turn into letting me pop the Chancellor bubble with Thoughtseize. I'll take that. Thoughtseize you and pay the tax. Yes. Animate Dead, Entomb, Thoughtseize. My god, they can shred both of my Sudden Edicts and then... Okay, I guess I'll take the Animate Dead, at least. Alright. I'll take that. They can Thoughtseize my Edicts away, if they even care about them. But they do need to find some sort of action. Thoughtseize, okay. There's the first one. See if they want to beat up on Edicts, or if they want to take Brainstorm and Jace. Took Edict. And they're saving the other Thoughtseize. I think saving one of them might have been a mistake, because now I can Brainstorm in response to hide the other Edict. There's the Entomb. Probably getting something better. Grizzlebrand. Okay. Yeah, I guess if they have Thoughtseize Reanimate here, it doesn't really matter if I have 2 Brainstorms. Love to find a force right now. Okay, we did it. Put back Brainstorm Jace. Yeah, if I put back Brainstorm Jace, then I can draw and slam Jace next turn. Force pitching Jace here. 1 card left in their hand. Like a flashback looting. Yeah, that's not bad for me. Dark Ritual Entomb discarded. Okay, I'm going to put Jace into play here and Fate Seal them and just hope that they missed on a Reanimator. Do not put Polluted Delta on the bottom of the deck. Okay, it looks like they missed. That's good news. And now I get to untap with Sudden Edict. Just going to keep plussing them now. The fetch land can mix it up a little, but do not put Swamp on the bottom. Yeah, because now they have to get Grizzlebrand into play, get it through a Sudden Edict, and then still be able to win the game after Jace bounces Grizzlebrand. They didn't shuffle. All right. They like a little mind game. In Paper Magic, I will frequently leave the card on top, no matter what it is, if my opponent has a fetch land. Other land, do not put it on the bottom. I'll brainstorm here. Okay, yeah, that's good shit. Put back Lightning Bolt, Days Undoing. Yeah, Hull Breacher beats Grizzlebrand even better than Sudden Edict does. And together, they are unstoppable. Opponent still hasn't cracked a fetch land. Not interested. There's a small temptation here to not execute my combo so they don't see it, but I also just want to win the game. And Days Undoing doubles as graveyard hate, which is just the funniest thing to me. Put that on the bottom, and then Days Undoing. Splat. Okay. Gonna be hard to win from here. They have one card in hand, no cards in their graveyard. Jace is at 11. Force of Will in hand. Good luck, have fun. Continue plussing with Jace. They can have Sarah Emissary. I don't think that card is castable. Hidetsugu consumes all. Also graveyard hate. That's cool. And I'll check their hand with Thoughtseize just to be sure, but they conceded in response, so I will not get to see what that card was. Doesn't matter. Yeah, they were like a turn behind on getting their Chancellor into play, which would have been pretty devastating. Flusterstorm, Thoughtseize, Sudden Edict, 3 Surgical Extractions coming in. None of these red cards or Plague Engineers matter. Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push, not really things I'm interested in. You could get a cheese factor if they get really greedy on Grizzlebrand with Lightning Bolt, but I'm not going to play to that. Strix is good. Thoughtseize, obviously great. Kind of already out of bad cards to cut. Maybe one Days Undoing can go. One Consume can go. Yeah, like Consume does exile all graveyards, but not until turn 4 at best. Yeah, that's not really the plan. I could see an argument that Days Undoing is better than the second Consume because having a combo kill to shut the door and also being blue to pitch to all the forces, where Consume exiling on turn 4 at best really isn't that great, and you have to tap out on turn 3 to get the exile on turn 4. Yeah, I actually just talked myself into that. Combo kill and up your blue count versus a card with marginal utility, kind of too slow unless things are already going your way. I like having a couple of them in the deck because if you do get to a stable mid-game situation, clearing out their graveyard, they'll probably shut the door. Keep this one. 2 Forces and a Thoughtseize. This is a solid hand. Dark Ritual. I'm going to be greedy and let that resolve. Entomb. I'm not going to be so greedy to let that resolve. Countering Entomb counters all of the reanimation spells in their hand as well. Like normally you want to fight over the enabler rather than the payoff in this deck. Like with this 2 mana floating. Okay, another one. How deep do I want to go here? I guess all the way. I am going to be... We're basically both going to be hellbent going into the next turn. And we'll find out together who that actually favors. Thoughtseize is a little dangerous here, but I am going to cast it. I have to assume there's a reanimation spell in their hand. They wouldn't just keep Entomb and 3 monsters. 2 Entomb, 3 monsters. Yeah, there's a spell I can take over here. Promise. Yeah, I will take the Exhume. Do I want to take the Faithless Lootings? Looting is card negative, though. Yeah, I'm going to take the Exhume. Leave you with your lootings. If they loot into discard, looting monster, have Lotus Petal reanimate, then I'm dead. Like, there are things that kill me here. They discarded land, second looting. No monster was found there. Okay, this feels good. I think I just want to extract the lootings. Or, no, I want to let them loot, see if I can draw this Narset. If I can draw the land for Narset and shut down the lootings, then we're in really good shape. Oh, should have hit them in the draw step with the Surgical. Would have actually got the looting. That's why you Surgical in the draw step, by the way, in case they draw another copy of the card you want to exile. Archetype of Endurance and Sarah Emissary have been found. Land? I'll take Ponder. There's the land, and all right, put Baleful Strix on the bottom, Badlands on the top. Force and negation above it. Don't shuffle. Now I have force and surgical to survive this turn with, and if I don't need to use force, I can slam Narset next turn. I'm a little worried about Exhume here, but I have reanimate covered. Okay, they're just flashing back lootings. Narset's going to shut that down. And if Narset comes up with a blue card, then I also have force and negation to back it up. Fetch a volcanic island, just get my colors set here. Guess maybe I get basic island, just in case they're on that Magus of the Moon sideboard deck, which I hope they're not, but here's Narset. Find a blue card for me. Ooh, is Consume better than Flusterstorm here? That's actually tricky. No, I'm going to take Flusterstorm. I'm just going to make sure I don't die. Like, right now, I'm ahead, and I don't think their hand is good, but in case they did loot into Reanimate last turn, and then they draw Exhume off the top now, I do want to make sure I have two answers. Or, like, Thoughtseize Reanimate. I can't just lose to some bullshit when I could have not lost to some bullshit. Narset's passively shutting down the Faithless lootings. If they have something, they want to go for it now because they've seen Flusterstorm and they know it's not getting better for them. Reanimate, targeting Sarah Emissary. I'm going to extract the Emissary in response. Remember to click the one. Alright, Grizzlebrand is the card in their hand. Narset has the scary part of that under control anyway. Nothing's fancy going on here. This is basically just their main deck again. No counter hate. They can't remove a Narset. Okay. Animate resolves. Grizzlebrand is their hand. Force of Will. Let's find Days Undoing and just end the game. Sudden Edict. We might be looking at each other for a long time here. Faithless Looting. Okay, they just want to discard the Grizzlebrand. You got it. I'm not going to counter that. Oh, shame concede. They forgot about Narset. I thought they were just discarding the Grizzlebrand. But that works too. That was a nice feature of the control half of this deck. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. Playing against a Yorion deck in round 3. Settle in for the grind, folks. I'm going to keep this hand. It sucks that my lands can't fetch my basic mountain because I do have the other two basics locked up. But this hand is pretty reasonable against Death and Taxes. Vial's not the card I wanted to see first. Oh, there's Force Will for it. Awesome. I'm going to get Volcanic Island and play Baleful Strix with my Swamp. Volcanic Island is the card that gets me red mana and also lets me cast Strix this turn. Because Badlands would do that too. I am trying to combo kill this opponent. That is absolutely the goal. Yes. No, I want Ponder more and Hullbreacher more than I want to counter that. And I'm going to leave up Lightning Bolt for Mother of Runes instead of casting Ponder here. That Wasteland was really good. But like we see here, if they have Mother of Runes, Lightning Bolt doesn't have any text anyway. Dang. Now I have to worry about Spirit of the Labyrinth. Coming in off a Vial is pretty rough. The old Grixis control decks had Kolagon's Command and just like could never ever lose to Death and Taxes, but that is not the world we live in anymore. Oh, Thoughtseize is good. Let me see if you have the Spirit. Okay, yep, they are just completely rolled up in every direction. I'm gonna lose to Kaldra if I choose to not lose to Spirit of the Lab. Recruiter of the Guard can just get the other one next. This is like literally the nut draw. If I was cheating, if I could just pick my first 10 cards, this is what they would look like. My god. Okay, Death and Taxes opponent. I don't think we're winning this game. I kind of have to take Stoneforge Mystic, though. I will leave back Baleful Strix to stop the Spirit of the Labyrinth from attacking. Oh, Hidetsugu consumes all. That's what I'm looking for here. That sweeps up the Vials. Okay. Yeah, we do have a play. Can't block Thalia. First strike, 2 busted. Another Wasteland. Wow. Whatever deal with a demon they made to rip like this. I'm gonna fetch now, so I can sudden edict. And there's only 3 non-basic red sources in the deck. Watch out for that. I'm gonna lose to Stoneforge Mystic like right now. I'm gonna edict in response to the Vile activation. At least kill one of these good creatures rather than the Recruiter of the Guard. Getting rid of Spirit makes some sense. They could just replace that one. I guess they could replace either of them, but just making sure that I can't do anything. Is Hidetsugu destroy or exile? Destroy. Okay, so nothing I can do about Kaldra. Yeah, this was the stone nuts. I'm gonna let Kaldra come in. I'll take a draw step or 2, but I don't really expect this game to be winnable. Yep, we're dead. Okay. Yeah, the just enough land destruction, like 2 Wastelands and Thalia, plus redundant threats. The Thoughtseize to check for the thing I was worried about, showed a thing I was even more worried about, and the thing I was worried about. Yeah, if I stacked my deck, my top 12 cards, to see in a game against Grixis Control, it would have been those 12 cards. Okay, Plague Engineer, Lightning Bolt coming in. Sudden Edict isn't the best. I don't think I want the 3rd Thoughtseize, but I do like the first 2. Maybe I do on all of them. Let's see how this actually lines up. Force of Negation is good. Meltdown kills Vials. You have to Meltdown for a lot to start killing Batterskulls. So I think that I'm going to rely on Consume to deal with that. Consume also hits Mother of Runes. Yeah, that's a big deal. Playing to Consume is something I need to be planning out a little better. I don't think I want all these Force of Wills. I want a couple in. Sudden Edict is like pretty bad if they have anything going at all. I can use my spot removal to keep Sudden Edict relevant a little longer. I don't think I want 3 copies of that card in my deck, though. That just seems really bad. On the play, it does answer Mother of Runes, though, and getting ahead of Mom is a big deal. I want my entire combo. I'm not cutting a Hull Breacher, Narset, or Days Undoing. I do want to be able to cheese them and shut the door. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm in for this. This gets to play on some basic lands I'm keeping. You get to fetch basic island, cast Ponder, fetch basic swamp, cast Strix, and then we're set up for a little while. Okay, now I can get the basic mountain as well. Don't shuffle this. Ponder's on top. I'm going to shuffle to get basic swamp next turn. Draw a new card off Strix. And the basic mountain is on lock now as well. Swamp. Strix. Another Strix. Happy to see it. Thalia resolved. As she does. Well, okay. Gonna get my basic mountain. You can suddenly edict. Yeah, that's the thing about sudden edict. It's just like, if you have it when they have 1 creature, you kind of have to cast it, because after that they start getting choices. Ooh, I Ganjo. That's cool. Another Thalia. And Mom. Hidetsugu? Alright, that's not Hidetsugu. I can Brainstorm and Strix, or I can Narset. I think Brainstorm and Strix is probably better. Brainstorm. Alright, Plague Engineer is the banger we're looking for. You can put back Hull Breacher, because Narset is just the better version of that effect. And I don't think I want Force of Will right now. So yeah, I actually definitely want Force of Will right now. What am I even saying? Continue to play on basics. Another Strix. Might as well attack. I'm not blocking. This fetch land is good, because even if they Rashad and Port me, now I have black mana to Plague Engineer Wind them. Play another human. That's not a human. That's not what I wanted. Okay, this is where Thoughtseize is supposed to show up and do stuff. Plague Engineer first. Wipe out all their humans. Hey, baby. You want to destroy all humans? Okay, they're protecting Stoneforge Mystic. That is the correct thing to do. I'm gonna name human. Get my 2 for 1. Ponder into Thoughtseize. Ponder into Days Undoing. Is that good enough? It's a little late to consume all. Narset Days Undoing when I'm already under the gun to Kaldra. Not exactly what I want. I think I have to commit to that, though. Hidetsugu. on the bottom, Days Undoing on the top, Ponder on top of that. Don't shuffle the library. Play my land for the turn and attack. And now I have Force up and pivoting into the Days Undoing. I'm going to be at 4 life when this pops off. Yeah, the Stoneforge Mystic was really good. Just no removal spell available for it. That hurts. I'm not going to block this turn. Blocking may be on the menu in the future. Wasteland and Skyclave Apparition. I am going to force that because I'm about to have a completely different hand anyway. Let's just keep their material off the board. Okay, blue, colorless, fetch. I have to fetch to 6. I'm actually at 1. This is really dangerous. Fetch. I'm going to get Badlands. They're just going to waste it anyway, but I think that is the best one to have right now. And I'm not attacking. I'm going to need all my blockers. Lightning Bolt, Ponder. This is not good. Oh god, they drew Stoneforge Mystic? Give me a break. And the active one can put in the thing that the other one just gets right now. Alright. Yeah, Cauldra is a big problem for Grixis. The white removal, exiling that thing, is really what you're looking for. Oh wow, they can even equip Jite right now. Once again, if I were cheating, my draws would not be this good. And they are going to the face. I'm going to block with probably just everything. Yeah, I might as well absorb all the damage because Jite gets to clear all these out anyway. Not like I get to keep anything around at the other end of this. Okay, I'm at 5 life. Let's make this happen. Thoughtseize. I needed you a lot sooner. Narset. What do I even need? It's like Jace. Okay. That is the card that I said. I'll take Jace. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, Jace. Bounce the Germ token. Get you out of here. They're currently Hellbent. If I Days Undoing again, I lose my Planeswalkers. That's not an option. I think I should Underground Sea Ponder right now. Underground Sea Ponder. Brainstorm's really good. Ponder's really good. I can Lightning Bolt whichever Stoneforge Mystic they try to equip to. Or no, I can't. I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do here. Fuck. All right. Yeah. If they just equip their Umezawa's Jite to Stoneforge Mystic, I bolt in response, and then they just equip it to the other one, and then I'm dead. The best I can hope for is that they fuck this up somehow. Or like play too careful or do something wrong. Alright, let's hope they play too carefully. Because they have 2 5-power attackers in play, and I can't remove them both. I'm gonna make the play that I have, which is bolt them. They do have to do all this in their main phase, so if they like wasteland me, I'll float black and represent Fatal Push and see if they want to push into it. Because making this push this turn, no pun intended, means they don't get to Saga. And the cool thing about Fatal Push is I don't care how big the creature is. But if I had Fatal Push, I would have just let them go into combat. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not even bluffing anything right now. I'm bluffing a second bolt. That's all I can really bluff. Depending on how well they're seeing into the details of this. Yeah, if I had Fatal Push, I would have just let them go to combat. Give me a turn. Give me a turn. They cast Aether Vial. Yes. Okay. We scared him into it. Stoneforge should still attack. Pick a Planeswalker you want to beat up. Or my face. That's fair. Yeah, I'm not in good shape to the Saga constructs either. Okay, I can activate Narset first. See where that goes. Just more brainstorms. Okay. I will start with a brainstorm from my hand. That's a lot of thought seizing that I'm not really interested in. Don't want all these lands either. Land and Thoughtseize can go back into the deck. Let's shuffle myself to 3 life. Need black and red mana. That's what color my removal is. And don't want to brainstorm again just yet. I could just Days Undoing. Like plus Jace, cast Days Undoing. hope that my 7 come up with something good, but Days Undoing actually draws them a card here. They don't even have a hand to get rid of. Yuck. Not ideal. I'm going to brainstorm with Jace. Sudden Edict, Lightning Bolt are both good. Put back land and Jace. And I can ponder here. Shuffle away the Jace I don't want. Alright, Hidetsugu was exactly the card that I was thinking that I wanted. That lets me Lightning Bolt the Stoneforge Mystic, Bolt the Mystic, and then I can Sudden Edict the Construct, and then untap and Hidetsugu. If I'm going to untap and Hidetsugu, then I should probably cast my other Narset right now. I'm trying to think of if there's a haste creature they can generate. I don't think that there is. So blue, 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 leave my removal colors up. Play the other Narset. Activate her. Jace or a second Hidetsugu. Yeah, I'll grab the Hidetsugu. Alright, cool. Hope there's not a Ginger Brute in their deck. Do I need a Sudden Edict now? I don't think so. I have to do it in response to their other Saga activation. Because of Split Second, I don't need to worry about them, like, just waiting. I can just hit it. I'm worried about my clock. Even if we win this game, which is suddenly looking possible, which it didn't look a moment ago. Alright, Sudden Edict you right now. Maybe this is a trick, but it's Sudden Edict, so they can't respond anyway. That would have been a really smart trick if this didn't have Split Second. Okay, F6. What do you got? Nothing in the vial is what I expected. There's Construct Token. They know that's going to die to Hidetsugu. Whatever they tutor up with Saga is also going to die to Hidetsugu. It's going to clear out the vial. And what is the last card in their hand? They got the Yorion. Okay. Thoughtseize can clear the Yorion. I am at 1, but I think that's okay. Let's consume. Kills the Construct and the vials. I don't need a Thoughtseize. I can Days Undoing. Yeah, that's probably better. Gets rid of the Yorion. Is that better? Or is it exactly the same? I'm going to plus Jace, targeting them. Swords to Plowshares. Don't put that on the bottom. I actually think maybe Thoughtseize is better. Or, no, I want to undo the day. These cards in my hand are not actually good. Let's just whip it around a little bit. Alright, handful of removal. Consume is ticking up. Got rid of the Yorion. They might have redrawn it, given the way that they've played this game so far. They probably did just instantly redraw Yorion. Council's Judgment. That's really good. What do you want to get rid of? All 3 of these permanents, or 2 of these 3 permanents can win the game. Yeah, they got rid of Jace. That's the best one for sure. And Vial. Okay. So all graveyards. Graveyards are gone. And Grix. And that doesn't hurt me. And I'm just going to pass the turn. I don't even need to activate Narset right now. Time to start winning the game quickly because time is a problem. Handful of removal and threats right now. End step, Hull Breacher. Jite can kill some of these things. I'm not worried about it. Hidetsugu is here. Back with all my creatures. I'll activate Narset. I have another one and a Hull Breacher active now. Another Consume. That's pretty cool. That kills the Vial, if I even care. I'm going to take the Force of Will, actually. I am winning with the board that I have. I don't need to go crazy. Mother of Runes dies to Sudden Edict. They have no cards in their hand. Guess I can push it. Because Edict, when they're top decking, is already a game ender. It's a hard removal spell. The first time I'm going to trigger a Hidetsugu. Gain a little extra life. And kill you with Bolt. They have... Alright, yeah. Well, they have the Jite, but Bolt you anyway. I'm pretty locked up here. I think I was playing fast and forgot to play my Hull Breacher in the unstep last turn. This is the whole turn cycle that we didn't need to play. Alright, that was good stuff. I was not convinced we were winning that one for a little minute there, but we managed to wiggle through. I don't think my deck improves. Sudden Edict's a lot worse on the draw, and that's the only card that I would really consider bringing in. Like Meltdown, I guess, clears out Aether Vials, but Consume already does that, but better. Meltdown can get a Jitte as well. Super late game, it can hit Batterskull, but I'm not gonna do all that. I can keep this one. Does good interaction across a variety of ways. Opponent multi 5. That's nice when you Thoughtseize a player who multi 5 on the play. You're just up 3 cards to start the game. And I am just going to crack off the Thoughtseize. No reason to let them have a Stoneforge Mystic or whatever it is they're trying to do here. I'm going to take Recruiter. I can Lightning Bolt cleanly these other 2 things, or one of them is reactive, the other dies the Lightning Bolt. Oh, drew Wasteland. Oh, that was aggressive. Surprised they did that. I thought they would have wanted to use that to activate the Urza Saga. Just trying to cheese me out on 5, I guess, is a play you can make. Bolt that. Now I have Brainstorm to go with Miss Fetchland. Hope they don't have a land right now. They did. Okay. Now we actually have to answer Saga. Disappointing. Land Narset. This is a lot of lands. I don't need all of these. I can put back land and put back Brainstorm. I think so. Land Brainstorm can go back. I'm going to Sudden Edict their Construct. Can't imagine they wouldn't just snap off a second one here. Then Edict it with basic Swamp. Probably getting Vile, I would guess. Unless they want to, like, Pithing Needle, Jace, proactively. Not just Narset. Or just Vile. Interesting. I could slam Narset. They do have an answer to Narset that I can see, though. If they can't put another artifact into play, they actually can't kill Narset. I'm going to get Volcanic Island, cast Narset, leaving up black for Fatal Push. Missed, but Hidetsugu consumes their entire board right now. If they don't have an artifact, then they can't kill Narset anyway. Spirit of the Lab, that's a good one. Spirit of the Lab's actually really good right now. Let's consume everything. Lose their Vile. Spirit can kill Narset next turn. If they have a land, they can exile Consume before it becomes a creature. But I am sort of like just frozen behind this Spirit right now. They're just going face. They're not respecting the Narset. Probably reasonable. You don't have to. Okay, just reloaded immediately from the Consume. Yeah, this Spirit, my opponent continues to draw hotter than the sun. Already answered one of those in their 80 card deck, and they have the second one, which it's the only card in their whole deck I would care about right now. But it is doing the work. Okay, it's no longer doing the work. Plague Engineer, whatever the fuck this is, Spirit. Skyclave Apparition's also a Spirit, by the way. Spirit. And then attack with Hidetsugu. Oh, I can't. It doesn't have haste. That's right. That's how that card works. That's how all cards work. And I'm just going to jam the Undoing right now. It gets 2 cards out of their hand, including an answer to my board. If they don't know how this works, okay. Solitude, that makes sense. I'll take the life points here. I'm not greedy. Getting rid of my Engineer makes sense. And they do know how this works. They're making their construct in response. Okay. 2 cards in their hand. They can get their construct bigger than my Hidetsugu right now. Shadow Spear is a strong one. Going face. That makes sense. I would too. All right, let's see if they came up with another Spirit of the Labyrinth in the 2 cards they got to see. I could Thoughtseize and be sure, but I have Lightning Bolt that also makes sure. Baleful Strix is good here. Jesus. Okay. I mean, I have it covered, but this opponent is on a different level. Ponder. I would love to find another Consume. I think another Consume wins the game. This pile of Strixes is pretty good too. They do have a giant trample monster. I think that's okay though. Strix. I guess I should have put the Ponder on top because I do have a mana unspent here. Yeah, if they can like tempo through with the Shadow Spear, that's actually really good. Okay. Jeez. All 4 Spirit of the Labyrinth. Or is this the 5th one? They had 2 cards in their hand and they were both Spirit of the Labyrinth. What the fuck? Lifelink trample on this thing. Attacking with both doesn't seem great. Right now I get to sweep their whole board. Okay, block a Death Touch creature on this one, and then if I block with these two... All right, let's see. Do I need to absorb the extra damage? I would go to 3 here and have a bunch of blockers next turn, or I could go to 6. Would I rather be at 3 or 6? And my opponent's been running like the sun, so they're probably going to draw a Flicker Wisp next turn to clear out my blockers. I'm just going to go to 3. Insane. Absolutely insane. Here's a Strix that doesn't draw a card, but I do need bodies in play. And the Hull Breacher is the mystery card here that they don't know about. They can attack for 4 trample, which I currently have under control. If they did draw the Flicker Wisp or whatever, next turn they can Solitude. Or, yeah, they can Solitude or Yorion next turn. There's no attack there. Here's my Hull Breacher. I'm not hiding anything right now. Force of Will. Does that help me? Not really. I think I should be attacking with Hidetsugu, though. It does represent some sort of lethal activity. Hopefully they think my hand is full of removal spells, but it's not. And they did play around the Thoughtseize by not wishing for Yorion last turn. If they have Solitude, then... a Solitude doesn't help them here. I am dead to that Yorion. It's just a flying big enough creature. I need a removal spell, like fucking yesterday. Wow. We're gonna lose this game. Just Days Undoing you into 2 Spirit of the Labyrinths. The card you get off Narset and the card for your draw step were both Spirit of the Labyrinth. Outrageous. I'm just gonna attack fearlessly. They could have put their Yorion into block. Like, I am representing that I have something here, but the game's not getting better for them. I just have to hope that they get too clever. I don't even know what that looks like, though, honestly. Like, what are you playing to, if not attacking me for 4 with Yorion right now? Don't even need to move your equipment over or anything. Yeah, crazy. Just shut down by Spirit of the Labyrinth. They do need to move Shadow Spear over, though, because Yorion doesn't trample. They're clearly making the attack, though. And I'm just dead. No removal spell, no action, nothing. Just I draw 7, they draw 1, and their 1 is better than my 7. All right. Sometimes that's Magic the Gathering. That turn where I cast Baleful Strix and left a mana unspent where I could have stacked the Ponder on top of the second Strix, like, that Ponder could have found the removal spell to get through the thing. So, like, there was a spot where I played suboptimally in that last game. Maybe could have got through it. Anyway, we're on the draw for round 4. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand is great against fair decks. We're dead against combo. Opponent mulled to 6. Underground Sea Preordain. I'm getting combo vibes, but we did see Underground Sea Preordain out of a fair deck earlier today. Top, bottom. Okay. Alright, we're no longer dead to combo decks. That was a good draw. Ponder. There's a little bit of tension in my hand right now, which is that I would like to cast Baleful Strix on turn 2, because that's what this deck is built to do. But Hull Breacher is a much better card against combo decks. If I don't draw a blue card... Okay, I did draw a blue card. We don't have to talk about it anymore. But if I didn't draw a blue card right there, then there might have been a little bit of tension between... like, do I cast Baleful Strix, or do I keep it in my hand for Force of Will and try to get Hull Breacher into play? Alright, now I have Force Blue card. Life is good. Thoughtseize, we'll see 2 Force of Wills. I suspect they'll take Hull Breacher or Brainstorm, unless they're just ready to punch through a Force of Will. Okay, they took a Force of Will. They're just getting to work over there. Narset's pretty fucked. Back with my Strix. This gives them perfect information, but it also generates card advantage. I'm just going to jam Narset. Let's reload here. Sudden Edict or Consume. These both seem pretty bad for the matchup, but I'll take Consume. This is where they reveal they are Tempo, Doomsday, and cast Murktide Regent, and I'm disappointed that I didn't keep my Edict. They pondered and could not draw a card. Desperate ponder. That's my favorite kind of ponder from the opponent. Activate Narset again. Keep burying. Grab another force. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Here's a land. Yeah, they're just packing it up. They know I have 2 Force of Wills and Hull Breacher at this point. We don't know what kind of combo deck they are, but I would suspect Doomsday. Yeah, they're definitely combo. Probably Doomsday. Could be Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Sudden Edict, not interested. Fatal Push, not interested. Lightning Bolt does still have text against combo decks. Doomsday and Ad Nauseam Tendrils both use their life total as a resource. Thoughtseize, Flusterstorm. I think I want like some small number of Surgicals in. Not all 3, but because I'm a Thoughtseize deck and a Counterspell deck, there could be a world where I just like ploop a Doomsday into the graveyard, and then they'd have no more Doomsdays. And if they're Ad Nauseam Tendrils, then they're actually a graveyard deck. I do want Red Blast in. Those are better than Lightning Bolt. Or I think Consume is worse than Lightning Bolt. Almost certainly. Yeah, that's a 3-mana card that doesn't really do anything. Yeah, Lightning Bolt still has text, like I said, for the reasons I said. I could bring in Plague Engineer in case they are Ad Nauseam Tendrils and go for Empty the Warrens. Yeah, I'll hedge it in that direction. Yeah, this looks good to me. I'm in. Let's go. Until we know more about their deck, this is the best guess I can make. I'm going to keep this Double Force Flusterstorm Narset hand against this combo deck. You don't have to twist my arm about this one. Ponder, you got it. Underground Sea, go. Try another Force of Will. I'm not going to fluster a Preordain. I would fluster a Thoughtseize. I would Red Blast a Preordain if I had Red Blast. Like, you bring in Blast against these sort of combo decks to beat up on their cantrips. Most of their payoffs aren't blue, but Flusterstorm does hit most payoffs. Okay, now I'm actually to the point where I'm a little flooded. I'm in no danger of losing anytime soon, but I do need to figure out how to win this game, and I need a land to stick Narset, and that's my plan to win this game. Fluster your Duress. They could Dark Ritual to pay for the Flusterstorm, if that's something they care about. Seems like it is not. Okay, Volcanic Island. Both Ad Nauseam Tendrils and Doomsday could splash red. There's all those lands I was looking for. I'm going to put back Strix and Scalding Tarn. Or no, I'm going to put back... This is actually a little tricky. I want Narset and Days Undoing. I'm going to put back Days Undoing and Narset in that order. I'm going to play Underground Sea. Pass the turn. I can pitch... I guess I should have put Scalding Tarn. No, because I need Narset to pick up the Days Undoing and move towards the end. Okay, yeah. I could have stacked this Brainstorm in a way that I had 3 forces up instead of just 2. But I think that setting up the velocity that I stick Narset next turn, she finds the Days Undoing, I let them know they're dead next turn, and you have to beat 3 forces. Okay, Tropical Island. This is a Storm deck. Carpet of Flowers. That's not my fight. Yeah, I don't believe that Doomsday would have a 4-color mana base on Carpet of Flowers. Not for a second. I'm going to fetch Badlands to mitigate the carpet activity. Oh, right. That shuffles away the Days Undoing. All right. Best plans laid. Found a second Narset. All right, now they have to get through Narset and 3 forces. Yeah, no matter how I stack that Brainstorm or Ponder, whatever cantrip that was last turn, Brainstorm, I wasn't going to get Days Undoing and Narset because I would have had to shuffle in between. I would have had to put Strix back and leave one of them in my hand, which maybe I should have done. But Narset holding the fort with this this hand that I have is not bad either. And they're just not even making mana with Carpet. They have nothing to do right now. Thoughtseize, that's a good one. Narset, let's have a look. There's Days Undoing. Is it time to Thoughtseize? They could have Veil of Summer, but I think that's fine if they do. I am willing to expend my whole hand right now to make this Days Undoing happen. Okay, they just have nothing. Yeah, I'll take Infernal Tutor. Storm confirmed. Told ya. Volcanic Island, Days Undoing. Do I even want a Days Undoing? I could just play Strix and yeah, blue-black Strix. The other hand just doesn't even do anything. Days Undoing is not good. It's worse than just playing the game out. I even have Force and Negation if they find Past in Flames, which is normally how they would want to muscle through this. There's LED. That'll... Okay, they're just dumping out in front of the Days Undoing that they know that I have. Surgical Extraction. Oh, that's a big game. Okay. Black, blue, Strix, Ponder. I like Ponder. I'm looking for land drops. I just want to... Oh, are those better than land drops? Yeah, probably. Okay, there's that. I'm going to extract their Infernal Tutors. Let's just get those out of the deck. How can they win now? They have one Wishclaw Talisman. There's 2 Veils in here. Past in Flames. It's not looking good. There's an Ad Nauseam. One Ad Nauseam, one Wishclaw Talisman. Okay. And I'll just start attacking. It's pretty funny that Days Undoing is just... Like, the combo that my deck is built to play is just worse than playing out the game normal. And I have Red Blast for a Brainstorm, which is probably their best draw right now. Oh, right. No, it isn't, because I have Narset. It just didn't need to do anything. That was just prison magic. Didn't need the combo half of the deck. The control half did plenty. On to the final round. I am on the play for round 5 of this fun interactive hand. I'm going to keep this. And I don't always love a turn 1 Thoughtseize, but I don't need to ponder. Like, I can Thoughtseize, Baleful Strix, and then ponder on turn 3 when I have more information about both my hand and their deck. So this is a nice little turn 1 Thoughtseize. Oof. Playing against... Oh, this is Tempo Doomsday. Nice. Big fan. Okay. Baleful Strix answers Murktide Regent. Do I just want to take Night's Whisper? Though Ponder plus Predict is a combo as well. I think I just want Night's Whisper. Or I could take Ponder, but Dark Ritual Night's Whisper is a line. Yeah, maybe I just take Ponder and try to bridge up into Hull Breacher. Yeah, I'm just going to take Ponder. Now, please don't draw Doomsday, I guess. Misty Rainforest, go. Yeah, taking Ponder is the play that just makes more time. And then I can Strix now, and then I found the land for Hull Breacher next turn, which hopefully can catch one of these draw spells. They're probably just going to Night's Whisper right now. Or they could Dark Ritual Night's Whisper and Predict, but the Predict is naked. I don't know if they want to make that play. Yep, easy Whisper. But they did that off of Polluted Delta, and I saw Scalding Tarn, so they played a land that I had not seen yet. I appreciate that. Ooh, Hull Breacher, Days Undoing, we're in there. Yeah, Days Undoing was a really exciting draw there, because if the Hull Breacher happens, then so will the Undoing. Malevolent Hermit, JK, maybe not. Okay, Hermit resolves. I can still Hull Breacher this turn, which Hermit cannot counter. There's the, yeah, that's the Scalding Tarn. They do have a bunch of cards in hand that I don't know about. Brainstorm in response. They could daze this, that would be a little disappointing. So I want Hull Breacher to resolve. Oh, they had to tap out of Malevolent Hermit to do this. Okay. Okay. Counterspell. Land's not bad. I'm going to attack with Baleful Strix. And then cast Days Undoing. I'm playing around Days here. This is the Days I'm talking about. Yeah. Got him. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Hull Breacher is such a good test card and such a good part A of your combo, because it like will win a game on its own. And if part A resolves, you're pretty confident part B will be. It's not like Dark Ritualing up into Burning Wish. It's like Show and Telling into Sneak Attack or something. Like, it's just... Hull Breacher is such a good tester. All right, we are playing against Tempo Doomsday. Red Blast coming in. Thoughtseize, Flusterstorm. Lightning Bolt's good against the Tempo part of the deck and bad against the Doomsday part of the deck, but Pyroblast probably is covering that gap anyway. I don't really want Fatal Push. Just Lightning Bolt's in the sideboard. Fatal Push. Jace is probably a little chunky against both halves of their deck. Consume does not seem good. Yeah, Consume's probably just too clunky and bad and doesn't do anything. I like Sudden Edict, I like Lightning Bolt. Those can all answer the things that they do. I've seen some lists of Tempo Doomsday go as far as having Delver in them, where Consume actually is good, but I'm just not seeing it with this card. I can bring in Surgical. So Lightning Bolt, Surgical, and Sudden Edict. I have one slot to fit one of these cards in. Murktide Regent is a big game, but they do have creatures to insulate against it, but I have all this other removal. I don't mind one Surgical Extraction if I'm going up to 3 Thoughtseize. Just if I win a counter war or clip with, like, being able to remove the Doomsdays from their deck and just play a fair game. Yeah, okay. I'm in for that. Let's do this thing. Also, Surgical lets me look at their deck and see how far they are on the combo side or the tempo side of the sideboard plan. I'll keep this hand. Blooded Strand. Are we getting Delvered? Oh, just Ponder. Deal. All Breacher, happy to see you. I'm just going to land go. This is not a good Brainstorm, and that's all I would be doing. And I'm not just going to fire off Surgical on Ponder or some shit. Love to find a Thoughtseize. That's a card I'm interested in. Brainstorm. I'm in the Thoughtseize business. Found one. Oh, wow. This is a lot of good stuff. I think that Jace, I'm not super interested in. Kind of want the Surgical in my hand in case I find a Doomsday off the Thoughtseize, but I can do that next turn. Or just never. I'm looking at Jace and Surgical as the cards to put back right now. Like, having Hullbreacher Undoing just emerge here as a plan is a huge deal to me. Alright, yeah, I'll put back Jace and Extraction. And then I'm going to Thoughtseize. Off of Badlands, I think. That sets up my Pyroblast for next turn as well without cracking my fetch in case I want to dance around my Hullbreacher. Got me with the Daze, that's fine. Pyroblast can answer Murktide Regent. I guess I could have slowed this game down a lot, just played around Daze, let my forces do their work. Yikes. Alright. Thoughtseize resolves. A Hullbreacher seems like the one you'd want to take. I agree with that assessment. I have four more Hullbreacher effects in the deck, and only 2 Daze Undoings. As far as me trying to assemble a combo, that's better. Okay, they are a Delver version. I'm gonna Pyroblast the Delver right now. Or no, I'm gonna give them a chance to reveal to Delver, give me some information, and then I'll kill it. Didn't flip. Alright, now I'll Pyroblast. Which is nice, because I drew Red Elemental Blast, that if they think I'm just out of action here, maybe they'll jam Murktide that I can punch through. But they have seen the Force of Will. Maybe they won't fall for that. I don't know. See what they want to do. Cavern on Dragon. Please, Dragon. Oh, on Wizard. Okay. Okay, that lets Malevolent Hermit resolve. I'm going to leave that card in play right now. If they think that... Alright, black, blue, Strix is pretty good here. Like, Basic Mountain 2, keeps coming. So, like, if they think they can Doomsday next turn with Hermit protection through my Force of Will, I can kill Hermit with Reb and then force the Doomsday. Cavern on Wizard also casts Thassa's Oracle, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Traded off some Strixes. Force of Negation. I have to be careful not to kill this Hermit too proactively, because coming back as the backside, the Benevolent Geist, could be even worse for me. I have some life total to work with here. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Playing out the 5th land tells me they have Force of Will. But I don't think that's a play that they make if they're just trying to Brainstorm. Okay, Brainstorm. Lots of action here. Daze Undoing I don't want anymore, and I don't have double blue to cast Force of Negation. I'm going to fetch for Volcanic Island and cast Ponder. And my blue sources are a little squeezed right now. Hullbreacher, Narset. Yeah, this is good stuff. I'm going to put Baleful Strix in my hand as something I'm not unhappy to pitch to Force of Will, and then Narset off the top to reload post fight, whatever this fight ends up being. Probably just going to Pyroblast Hermit in the end step if they don't do anything else. Doomsday. Pyroblast. Not that. Okay, Red Elemental Blast the Hermit, and then force the Doomsday twice. Force pitching Strix. Right, their last cards in hand are force blue card, resolves, and then I force blue card again, and then they can replay their Hermit from the graveyard. I Pyroblast it, and then... Or does this cost 3 to disturb? It does, okay. I get to jam Narset right here. The old empty board Narset. Jam it. Grab a Days Undoing. You're on notice, go. Can I get a scoop? Scoop. Yeah, just having Thoughtseize in your combo deck completely changes the... Or in your control deck, completely changes the texture of the combo matchup. Like, if this was Bant, I would be trying to, like, hold up dress downs and stuff and, like, not really know what I need to work about, but just Thoughtseize, see exactly, take the things I'm worried about, etc. We put up a 4-1, and our loss was to the world's luckiest Death and Taxes player. This is like a trophy run in most parallel universes. This deck felt really good. I did like the change to add the main deck Thoughtseizes. I liked the Flusterstorm in the sideboard. Just the couple changes I made, I felt good about all of them. Baleful Strix remains powerful. Consume only really came up in the Death and Taxes matchup, but it was really good there. Didn't play against Banter, Delver, or anything where the Exile clause matters a lot, or the Sweeper clause picking up Delvers and Darcy's. That didn't happen, but that's okay. This card is really cool. Really, it's not often that a single card changes the texture of what's playable in Legacy, like completely. Because like there's the first level of Grixis is playable again, and then like all of the fallout of that, where like Jeskai is worse when Grixis is playable. Like, Grixis has historically chewed up Jeskai, and if Jeskai's worse, then Bant's better, and Bant historically is chews up Grixis. But Consume changes the texture of that Bant matchup. If you're interested in playing Control in Legacy, you should order your playset of Consumes. Just make sure you have those available. I'm not saying this is suddenly the best and only Control deck worth playing, because I don't believe that's true. I think that Bant with the various splashes is very good. I think that Jeskai is very good, both in the combo heavy and in the control heavy version. And I think that just from the top rope, out of nowhere, Grixis has dropped into the match here as a real contender as well. And I do really like Days Undoing. Having played now across this video series, the 4-color Bant deck without a Days Undoing, and then the Jeskai deck with 1 Days Undoing, and now the Grixis deck with 2 Days Undoing, I just think that having that eject button on your control deck is such a big deal. It pitches to force when you don't want it. You have Brainstorms in your deck. Like, once in a while, you're going to have a Days Undoing rotting in your hand that you're not able to cast. But just ending a game where otherwise you would have to be slogging through dealing 20 with Baleful Strix, that's just a totally... This is a thing worth doing, is my assessment of that. At the end of this exploration of control across 3 different decks. I don't think Bant actually wants to be doing this. I think Bant has enough tools on its own with Uro. Like, Uro just changes the texture, but if you don't have Uro as like a repeatable endgame crushing engine, I think that your blue deck does want Days Undoing in it. That is not to rule out decks like Shark Still. Like, if you have a different, like, Hall of Heliod, Shark Typhoon, Standstill kind of engine, you don't need Days Undoing. But I think that the days of just Jace the Mind Sculptor wins the game in my control deck, I think those days are kind of behind us. You need an Uro, you need a Hall of Heliod, you need a Days Undoing combo. You want something to really shut the door and really bury any opponent who takes the pressure off you for even 1 second. This deck was really good. being able to play to this Days Undoing was really good throughout. And this series was a lot of fun to explore. Brendan, thank you for sponsoring this exploration of control. I'm really glad Neon Dynasty was able to provide a really meaningful third chapter of this story instead of just playing a different build of Jeskai. We learned some important lessons. We learned kind of how control decks tick. And I think we actually have a rock, paper, scissors at the control, in the control sector of Legacy again, not just like Bant versus the format versus Jeskai versus Bant, where I do think Bant is better against an open field. Like if you're just wading into 9 rounds of bullshit, I think that Bant will be better than Jeskai. If you're wading into a like showcase challenge on Magic Online where you know everyone's going to be trying really hard playing top tier decks to win, or like a Pro Tour qualifier or something like that, I think Jeskai is probably better than Bant because you can really target specific metagames, but Bant or Jeskai can fall behind when compared to an Uro deck, where Uro, just the life gain, the card draw, the raw power just gets disrespectful against decks that aren't quite at the top Legacy tier caliber. Where Jeskai, if your opponent's doing something weird like, I don't know, like mono black Phyrexian Obliterator, and your hand is like Lightning Bolt or whatever, and or like Bant would just be like, okay, whatever, plow that, or bounce it with Jace, or Uro's bigger than that, or something. But I can see worlds where Jeskai sort of falls apart if you play against the non-expected metagame. And I think Grixis is closer to the Bant side of that than the Jeskai side. You do need to tune your Grixis deck. One of the strengths of Bant is that the raw power of the cards in that deck mean that the specific metagame tuning are less important. You still have to do it, don't get me wrong. You still get 15 sideboard slots. You want them all to count. But like Jeskai and Grixis, like, how many Fatal Push do you play? How many Lightning Bolt? How many Sudden Edict? How many overall removal spells? How many discard spells? And what should they be? Do you want Hymn to Turok or Thoughtseize? All of those sort of things. Like, do you need 4 Hidetsugu consumes all? Or is this like an early days experiment of just, I want to draw this card more often, so I'm going to play 4 of it and see how it plays? Is 2 or 3 the right number of this card? There's a lot of things that you need to figure out with your Grixis and Jeskai lists, where Bant, it's just sort of like Uro goes burr. And that is a consideration depending on how much time you have to put in, how much format familiarity you have. Though Thoughtseize decks, now that Thoughtseize is playable again, Thoughtseize decks gives you a lot, raises the floor a lot, where in your Jeskai deck, if it's like, do I want to I have 1 flex slot, do I want Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, or Pyroblast? And then like you just play against the wrong deck. Thoughtseize being your interactive flex spot will just always hit the opponent, will always see what they're doing, will always take a card. That is a huge boon for Grixis. Yeah, I like where Legacy is right now. I like the Legacy, the control pathway in Legacy has multiple different flavors of multiple different decks right now. It's a really cool time. They all have their own type of interaction. They all have their own type of power. And I like it. I'm into it. This is a great time to be a Legacy control wizard. Personally, if I had a Grand Prix tomorrow, I would probably play 4-color Bant with the Black Splash, or some build of this Grixis Hidetsugu consumes all deck. I'm very impressed with this. I love the tools available. I love that you get basic lands. I love that this list is not messing around with Back to Basics or Blood Moon. I think Boseiju makes that plan a whole lot worse against where you want it to be good. And Days Undoing is filling the role of end the game as soon as I have breathing room that Blood Moon used to do. A lot of smart, disciplined choices in deck building here. And I will be exploring this deck more in the future. I got some paper Legacy tournaments coming up. I would not be surprised if I end up sleeving up for Hidetsugu Consumes All for at least one of them. Khan Kubrat, thanks for supplying this list. Brendan, thanks for asking me to do this series. I hope everyone got a lot out of it. I definitely did. Control is thriving in Legacy right now. Have fun out there. and enjoy consuming all. I'll see you all for the next video.